Hey everybody, what's up? It's Jesse here from Pickle Madness again, and today I have a very special paddle with me, the brand new Gearbox Pro Ultimate. This is the latest addition to the Gearbox Pro series, which previously featured the Power Elongated and Integra, and also the Control Elongated and Integra. It's important to note that all of the previous paddles in the Pro series were all 14 millimeters thick, which was true both for the Power and the Control version of that paddle. Now we have the Pro Ultimate, which is a 16 millimeter thick paddle, which features a 16 millimeter core instead of the 14 millimeter. The Ultimate is only available in the elongated shape, so there will be no Integra, or formerly known as the Fusion. There will be no Integra/Fusion shape of the Ultimate, at least for now. When talking about the Gearbox Pro series paddles, including the Ultimate, elongated does not mean a difference in handling, but rather an extension of the face. So it has a bit longer face than the Integra version did. So if you were to hold this up next to the Power Pro Elongated, this would be the exact same shape. With a core about 16 millimeters thick, it was just 2 millimeters thicker. But even then, that's really not a very thick paddle. And compared to other 16 millimeter core paddles, it seems quite thin, though it is still a 16 millimeter core. Now I want to get straight into talking about the power, because I know a lot of people are very curious how the Pro Ultimate Power compares to the Pro Power Elongated. And while it is certainly comparable, it is definitely not that overwhelming power of the Power Pro Elongated. In my case, and I think for a lot of other people who were using the Power Pro Elongated or the Pro Power Elongated, it was just a bit too much and a little too wild. You really had to focus on reining in your shots in order to keep them in bounds. And because of that, a lot of times, at least me personally, I would lose out on a lot of topspin, because instead of focusing on ripping the ball as hard as I can with as much topspin as possible, I was just focusing on not hitting the ball out. So the Ultimate, I found, really allowed me to get as much topspin as I could on the ball. I really didn't have to worry about sailing out. It honestly reminds me a lot more of the Yola Gen 3s than any other paddle I've tried. When the Gen 3s got banned, I switched to the Paddletech TKO CX, and so did a lot of other people. But honestly, I do feel like the Gearbox Pro Ultimate is a lot closer to at least what the Perseus 16 felt like in the Yola Gen 3 series. I say that because this has more of a bouncy feel to it, whereas the Paddletech was a more flat hit and didn't really propel the ball off the surface by itself as much. In this case, you can definitely feel the ball launching off the surface. It's not to the point where it's shocking and you're just attempting to block, or you're trying to dink or maybe hit a drop shot and it flies way out of control and you lose the point. It's a lot more controlled, and the nature of this paddle is definitely, if you hit it hard, it's going to have a lot of power, and if you don't hit it hard, it's going to be a lot softer and much more controllable. And because of that, this paddle really does have good control. The Pro Ultimate, it's definitely not a control paddle, but it has control in the way that you can direct your shots to where they want to go. Not just like the paddle feels dead or just doesn't have any power, so it's technically controlled. This is really just a balanced version between the Pro Power and the Pro Control of the previous paddles from Gearbox. And because of that, I think this paddle is going to be a sweet spot for a lot of people. Now, when it comes to spin, again, with the Power Pro Elongated, there was a lot of people complaining that the spin maybe wasn't as good as they wanted it to be because the ball came off the surface so fast. And yes, the ball does come off the surface fast on the paddle, but definitely not nearly as fast as it did in the Pro Power version. This definitely feels like it has a lot more dwell time, so it can shape the ball better, especially on drives and aggressive dinks, and it allows you to play smarter rather than just trying to focus on hitting the ball without launching it out of bounds. The Pro Ultimate features what Gearbox calls the TRX surface technology ply, and that is the peel ply that is on top of the carbon fiber, as all carbon fiber paddles have. There's that peel ply on top, which is a big part of what gives you spin. And from play testing, it does feel pretty good. There's certainly more than enough spin that I think anyone really needs. On this TRX surface, I really think you can feel the ball gripping the paddle face a lot better than many other paddles with carbon fiber surfaces. I would recommend this paddle to somebody who enjoys the Gearbox style of paddle, such as the thinner handle, the slightly more racquetball type handle shape, the edgeless design, and just a light feeling paddle. Though of course you could add weight if you wanted to. I think if you're someone who wanted to like the Power Pro elongated, but just couldn't because it was so hard to control, this is a really good option instead. It's a lot more reasonable in its power, and it also allows for a lot more directed control shots rather than just trying to focus on not hitting the ball as hard so it doesn't fly out of bounds.